गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गणेश शॉट। गणेश शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। बांग्लादेश turmoil and it's continuing, right? It's not going to stop. Let's be very clear at the outset. We know yesterday that Sheikh Hasina was sentenced to death in absentia. There are a whole lot of issues on that I'll touch upon. Uh, but the fact is that the run up to this verdict and the run up to this tribunal, the way it is operated, the way it's going to unfold ahead, one thing we should be very clear of: turmoil in Bangladesh is here to stay. There are no easy solutions. People come out with armchair solutions, ye karo, wo karo. Nothing is going to stay. And fundamentally, Bangladesh has gone back, has turned its clock back attitudinally. And that is what we have to understand. It's no more a case of, you have to hold your neighborhood, take care of it, take it along with you, and all that. No, that to my mind is out of the equation. Right? Something has fundamentally changed in Bangladesh over the past 1 year. We must be very clear that Bangladesh and its people are no more our friends. There might be some who this thing, but they're no more our friends. There's a revisionism going on in Bangladesh. They want to revise their history. They want to deny their history and revise their history. When that kind of a revisionism goes on, it's a mental issue. It's not going to get away from, it's going to go far away from reality. And that revisionism is driven by fundamental Islamic thought process. And unfortunately or fortunately, it's coming out in their mainstream media, in their opinion, everything. And this was hardening. So the path ahead with Bangladesh is pretty long, right? So let's get to the thing, and I'll keep touching upon issues as we go along. What did India say when this is the statement which came out when yesterday? India has noted the verdict announced by the International Crimes Tribunal of Bangladesh concerning former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. As a close neighbor, India remains committed to the best interests of the people of Bangladesh, not to the country, to the people of Bangladesh, including in peace, democracy, inclusion, and stability in that country. So, very important. You're looking at democracy, you're looking at inclusion. What is happening in Bangladesh is exclusion. So, those of you who think this is an anodyne statement, no, it has conveyed something. We will always engage constructively with all stakeholders to that end. So, with all stakeholders, no exclusion. The message is pretty explicit. This is pretty explicit. So, a lot of people feel that this is a weak statement. It is not, right? And at this point of time, we are still keeping our hands off Bangladesh, and it's good to keep your hands off Bangladesh. You don't want to get involved. They say you don't roll with a pig in the mud. The pig enjoys that mud. You don't. That's the fundamental thing. And this is what our ex-ambassador to Bangladesh had to say, Riva Ganguly Das. We have to watch the situation very carefully. You would have seen that since the verdict was announced, 2 bulldozers moved in the area of 32 Danamondi. That 32 Danamondi was the residence of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, right? And that was where he was assassinated. In any case, a part of it was broken in the revolution last year, or when this whole turmoil started last year, right? Who are these people who are bringing these bulldozers trying to flatten 32 Danamondi? The situation is extremely precarious because for the last few days, many incidents of violence, arson have been reported. I think under this situation, we have to watch very carefully what's happening in our neighborhood. Very important to understand this, right? We'll have to see how to take this whole story forward. People would be baying for blood in our side. I don't think that's the way forward, right? You need to have a way forward where Bangladesh doesn't interfere with us. Bangladesh is isolated. Bangladesh is kept bottled, and you go ahead with what you have to do and remove certain problems which are inherent in our relationship and our own security concerns. That's the way I look at it. Now, as far as this business of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's house, ye, wo, all that is concerned, that's why I said they are in a huge revisionism. The, the forces which are currently dominating the scene in Bangladesh are anti-Indian, and that's a large number. Okay, and they have held the streets, but that tide also might turn as we go along. Right? There's no point in getting involved on the streets of Bangladesh. Let them fight their own battles. If they want to, you know, flatten a national monument, so be it. It's their headache. But we need to understand this. They want to erase history which can't be erased. That's the thing. Okay, what is the way ahead? I mean, immediately, what do you expect? Now, Bangladesh will say, look, now that she is convicted, Sheikh Hasina, please hand over. But is it that easy? It's not going to be easy. Handing over, because now she's a criminal. The extradition will be on criminal grounds, not on political grounds. It's not a matter of political asylum and all. It's on criminal grounds. So what will that happen? It will be a legal process. That criminal extradition is a legal process. Look at our guys who ran away from India, who are living all over, including that Kingfisher guy who's sitting in Britain. All those chaps, right? They're all criminals, and you're trying to extradite them. And that Geetanjali Diamond, that fat fellow, nothing. They've not come back. It's been 10 years, right? Now, what will that mean? It will mean going to courts in India, and the courts will, hear both sides of the case. It will hear the government. It will hear, courts in India. Of course, if the courts order, then we have to send, but that's a different story. Will the courts order? And why? Moot point. The government of Bangladesh, it's not legal so far. So a criminal extradition process by a tribunal constituted by an illegal, or rather not a government, which is extra constitutional, is itself illegal. So whatever comes from Bangladesh, our courts will say that this is not a legal government. This is an extra constitutional government. So, and this extra constitutional government has constituted a court, and this court has given a proceedings. I mean, a conviction. So, is all this legal? I don't think so. So, I don't see this lady going anywhere near. I'm giving you the legal part of it. Otherwise, also Indian government will not. But after this, Bangladesh will have to start the due process of law. They've not yet started. After all, yesterday only the conviction came. Where will they go? Where will they go further? Okay. And it is here now that Bangladesh will realize it's landlocked. Where will Bangladesh go? Bangladesh, whom will it go to? It can't go to Pakistan, China, and USA and say, tell India to give this lady back. So that is the thing. This is more of a political drama which is being done. But will it win? Will it, go to its logical conclusion? I don't think so. And we'll talk of it as we go along. Now, yesterday night, there were some clashes reported. We don't know what's the status. We don't know what's going to happen today. We'll see how this happens. Maybe a Couple of days later, we'll take a review of what's the thing. Yesterday night, this thing came out that there were major clashes in Bangladesh. And maybe today we'll know whether the situation is under control, out of control. One doesn't know, right? It's too early for me to predict that will it go under control or not under control. But there are certain things which we have to understand. These are fundamental attitudes. And mind you, what I've written here, right, interestingly, has come out, is a product of Bangladesh op-ed writers. It's the opinions these chaps are making in Bangladesh. And they're pretty strong fundamental attitudes, which I thought I must put across to all of you. It says, one guy says, the rise of Islamic politics here, that is Bangladesh, is rooted to a large extent in domestic discontent emanating from unemployment, inequality, corruption, and the absence of credible secular leadership. Mind you, Bangladesh is a secular country in their constitution. So there's this guy who says the problem is here within Bangladesh. There's another attitude which says if India is unashamedly Hindu, why should Bangladesh not be proudly Muslim? Right here, one must understand good, bad, or ugly, whichever way you look at it. Right? People in Bangladesh, reactionary people and fundamentalists in Bangladesh and in Pakistan are of the view that uh, India is a Hindu country. It's a Hindu majority country, there's no doubt. But it's a Hindu country, Hindutva, that kind. Political Hinduism. That's the best way I can put it. But which is not there. It's not there. That problem. So there's an imagination out there that the government of India is unabashedly Hindu and unabashedly anti-Muslim, which is also not there. But then that's the mindset, that's the fundamental mind attitude. How do you push that attitude away? The way I have seen it, they would be only happy if you get Islam up in India or something like that. I don't know. I mean, it's very strange. And that's the expectation. I have no problem with Islam, but I have problem with those people who are against the country. Whether you're a Muslim or a Hindu or a Sikh or Christian or Parsi or tribal, I have no problem. Who you are, the government in India allows you to do what you want to do and practice your faith and religion. But you can't be against the country, you can't be against the constitution. That's my problem. That's my way of looking at it. But you look at it the Bangladeshi way and the Pakistani way, they feel India is a country where it's only Hinduism and Muslims are being cornered and subjugated and all that nonsense. And hence, they say, look, if India is unashamedly Hindu, I should be proud Muslim and do whatever I want. And this is a very telling article or excerpt. As India wraps itself in the saffron robe of majoritarian nationalism. I don't see that anywhere. There's no majoritarian nationalism around. And the ideological heat radiates beyond its territory. Are we sending ideology beyond our territory about Hinduism? Unlike Islam, which is trying to convert people or Christianity or others, the countries, the religions which have emanated from this land, I'm talking of this land, have never converted anyone. People converted to this, adopted this way of life. Whether it's Buddhism or Jainism or Mahavira's, whatever. and Hinduism for that matter. In fact, more than Hinduism, which has gone up across oceans, it is Buddhism which has spread. Buddhism, which is an offshoot of Hinduism, which is a later day thing, which has been actually probably more aggressive in sending its thing out and converting people. That's why it's gone all over China, even up to Afghanistan and Far East. Right? Now, he says Bangladesh is often receptive or vulnerable to Hindutva's language of cultural supremacy. I don't see any of this directed towards Bangladesh. Cultural supremacy, which asserts that India's soul is intrinsically Hindu and that minorities must either adapt or fade. Again, I've not seen this. The common man in India doesn't look at it this way. Here, that is here in Bangladesh, it stirs anger and anxiety. Anger. Why? Each time an Indian leader invokes the term Hindu Rashtra, which Indian leader evokes the term Hindu Rashtra every second day, or a television channel in Delhi debates, Bangladeshi infiltrators. It is a fact. They don't want to accept that reality of infiltration. The emotional boundary between the two nations hardens. And in that tightening, the call for Islamic identity in Bangladesh finds further strength. They're justifying their own shortcomings and their own attitudes. I mean, we should have no doubts. The reason for existence of Bangladesh, right, is Islam. And that is why they went away to Pakistan. It was East Pakistan. I mean, they have to understand where they are. And this fundamentalism is rooted in this area and this people. Yeah, a lot of things did change. Sheikh Hasina tried to water this down to a large extent. And they did. Because and now they are, and culturally, you look at it, even whether you go back to the time of the United Bengal in the turn of the last century or in the early parts of the last century and all those moments. Uh, it was based on Bengali culture and identity. It was not based on Hinduism and Muslim, like in Punjab, you know. But then after 1947, all that vanished. No one wants that part. Who wants? I mean, look at it logically. Who wants that area which has got 170 or 180 million people packed with no resources and with that kind of an ideology which is increasingly away from what we in India as a whole, we in India as a whole think is not my cup of tea. This is a headline in their own, leading daily star. What does it say? If the state cannot govern, violence will. Which says, look, the state is not able to govern and violence is taken over the streets. And very clearly, the state is not governing in Bangladesh today. That is why the violence is increasing. Why is the state not able to cover? Because everyone is not with the state. Because the state itself is illegal. It's a minority case. And there are appeals. Stop the surge of violence urgently. All this in the past 1 week. Violence there has increased. Why is violence increased? Because people perceive that what the government of Bangladesh was doing was wrong. Arson, crude bomb attacks, all that ahead of the verdict. What will happen after the verdict? Let us see. When you persecute people, there will be a reaction. I have no doubt Sheikh Hasina probably persecuted people. That's why that reaction. We are not for Sheikh Hasina or against, but the fact is that she's been loyal to the concept of India and how India helped her and she had personal issues, and personal way we helped her out of Bangladesh, especially when Sheikh Mujib was killed or assassinated, and all that. So she was loyal. How can we be disloyal to her? That sort of question. But today, things have changed. They can be disloyal to themselves, but can we be? We can't. But are they able to? And there are a lot of people in Bangladesh who do not agree with what's going on. For 1 year now, they've kept quiet. Now things are coming out on the street. If probably this chap had held elections last year, this Yunus had held elections last year, put in a government, and in some way, things would have been. By delaying the process, he's put the country in a bigger problem, and now things might revive the other way around. It might go into more turmoil, and that's the whole story. We'll talk of it. And is Bangladesh at risk of losing the election information war? This is about the elections which are likely to be held in February. Why are these elections being held? We have to understand that. Because there's a mounting military pressure which ultimately forced Yunus to announce an election date. The army has not been on board with whatever has happened politically, but the army has been quiet. It's not taken over the situation. I mean, I would grant it to the chief of the Bangladesh army, and with all the pressures he's facing, that is, let this nonsense continue. Because if he takes over, he'll have a problem. If he doesn't take over, he has a problem. So he's letting a process continue. Whether that process will ultimately see the light of the day in a positive sense for Bangladesh is a huge moot point. But he's pushed these people into, I wouldn't say a corner, he's pushed them to announce an election date. Whether that election will be held or not, we don't know. Already there are issues about that election. That is why such articles come out. Is it at the risk of losing the election information warfare? So this is an info war about the elections within. So the legitimacy of the elections, which will be held in February, also will come into question. Is it going to be fixed? Who's going to be ensuring that it doesn't get fixed? Will there be international observers? All these issues will come into fore. And then this fellow says, no one, regardless of power, is above the law. Yunus. And he's pointing at Sheikh Hasina. I'd like to highlight, is he above the law? Bangladeshis have to answer for themselves. Is this chap above the law? He's absolutely below the law. He's instigated a revolution. He's supported that. Okay, and for 1 year plus, he's held on to power illegally. If tomorrow the new government comes and puts an international tribunal against him and tries him for war crimes, they should. They should, for insurrection and everything, because he's responsible for it. So Bangladeshis should realize where they stand. I can see some Bangladeshis saying fake story, ye wo. But the fact is, this is what they say. This is not my story. This is their story. And Hussein Haqqani, who was Pakistan's ambassador in US once upon a time in Yevo, and he knows these areas well. And he wrote an article. I picked it up from that. The economic indicators today in Bangladesh have gone down and are pretty alarming. I mean, I didn't know this, that agricultural output in Bangladesh has shrunk for the first time in 10 months. First time in 10 months in August, that is, right? That means around that, from the time this new government or new guys who have carried out a constitutional coup, call it what you want, from this Yunus chap has come into play, Agricultural output has gone down. Agriculture is the mainstay of Bangladesh. I mean, weaker demand. People don't have money to buy anything. Activity is reduced. Input costs are rising. Because उन्होंने तो इंडिया से कट्टी कर दिया. Okay. So there's an issue. Garment sector, which is their most productive sector, about 90 odd factories have closed. There are 50,000 job losses. There's been labor unrest and violence for the past 1 year. We know that, we've seen it. I've spoken of it. You think it's revived? FDI has dropped 50% in Bangladesh this year. High unemployment, decline in wages, social and economic disparities have widened. These are others' reports. These are not my analysis. Banks are in a mess. I mean, I would expect one more year of this fellow, banks will start collapsing. I mean, this is new. At the end of April, banks were unable to circulate new currency notes because the Bangladesh Mint did not have the capacity to cancel old notes and print new ones. They're in that kind of a situation. Bangladesh is a real basket case, if you ask me. I mean, when you compare Pakistan and this, Pakistan, at least there's some semblance of order because Asim Munir, being a dictator, has put order in the whole story. Some order, whatever that order is. यहाँ तो order ही नहीं है. Everything is disorder. And this is telling. What about the external relations? The one and only country with which Bangladesh has improved relations over the last 1 year is Pakistan. The same Pakistan which carried out a rape. The rape of Bangladesh is a well-known thing. It's there. You know, you look at it in New York Times, you will get this. There's a headline called "Rape of Bangladesh." You see all their, generals going there and doing. What will Pakistan give? Pakistan to kuch doob raha hai yaar. What will trade happen with Pakistan? Nothing. Of course, what is written we know. And if we think, I mean, if Bangladesh thinks with the help of Pakistan they'll finger India, well, they're in for a rude shock. Then India will do what it has to do. It will, it should, in fact. Gone is the time for talking. Do the hard thing. The hard thing could be anything. We'll get to the end of this and I'll talk what are the hard things we can do. And let's look at the political status, of all this. What's the political status in Bangladesh? 2/3 of the voters, as per opinion polls, have not spoken. Bangladesh is a chup. The arm Bangladesh is chup. February, March. Now that's 7 months back. If there was a election at that time, BNP would have got about 42%. The Jamaat would have got 32% of votes. Awami League would have got only 14%, and the NCP, the New Citizens Party, with the student fellows have put, would have got 5% of votes. The minority. Interesting. Even then, if between the Jamaat and NCP, they wouldn't have got a majority. But today, people are quiet. I am very sure that people are saying, look, we were better off when Awami League was around. And I'm sure, I mean, they've been banned. Awami League is banned in Bangladesh. It can't contest elections. That means inclusion is not there, it's exclusion. Virtually 50% of Bangladesh has been excluded. Is that acceptable to Bangladesh or the Bangladesh people? It will not. Obviously, that is why this violence is on. That is why you will see whatever is to happen will happen. And you will see, I mean, I have no doubt, this is maybe 5 months back, 6 months back, whatever happened on, in the run up to this tribunal, all that violence which has gone up, right, wouldn't have happened because Awami League was hiding. Today, they've come out. Why? The people are suffering. This government has done nothing for the people, Unison Company. All they want is consolidation of power. All these student fellows want is power. And they have no way of going ahead. If 1 year people have said, people talk of China, yeah, all that. What has happened with China? 1 year. This Yunus went to China. He said, "You come to Bangladesh, invest in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is the only thing. India is landlocked. Bangladesh is the only way out for the entire Northeast." He had his own theory. It was a stupid theory. What has happened? Has China given them anything? China has given them nothing. China also knows if they put the money there, they are in a problem. China also, initially, there was a lot of talk that, oh, that ambassador at that point of time used to say, oh, we want the Tista River project, we want the Lal Munir Hut, all that. What happened? China has to decide whether it wants to do that or bend fences with India. So China is backing off. China also knows they're not fools. And if Bangladesh tries something funny, we'll hammer them. That Lal Munir Hut and Tista River project and all going to China is out of question. And we should convey it in as many words now to Bangladesh. You try that and we'll see what you will not let that project go and we'll physically interfere with it. And it's very easy to physically interfere with it. What is it? It's 10 kilometers away from the border. Right. I just want to put across something. There's heavy rain in Chennai. So if your sound, there's a background mush, it's the rain. I can't help it. Okay. So that's the thing. Right. What next? These are the four parties: BNP, NCP, New Citizens Party, and Jamaat-e Islami, the Awami League, and the Army. These are the four players. Awami League is banned. If Awami League has got even 15% support and you ban them, then the whole story is exclusive. Will the army be happy with just the BNP and the NCP and the Jamaat to come up? Will that happen? We don't know. After today's event, we'll see how this whole story goes forward. And what should India do in this condition? I don't mind if the Bangladesh people say, I want BNP. Go ahead, choose BNP. But don't ban AL. You can't ban the Awami League because that's illegal. Does this government have the constitutional authority to ban this political party? You immediately after this, hanging verdict or rather death sentence and all that. Incidentally, the death sentence has been not liked by UN also. UN has also said no, this is not correct. So where will this go? It's going nowhere. Now, Army is a interested party in this whole story. And I think it's been the sanest party on this whole story. But how much leeway they have to ensure that Awami League comes in. In all this which is happening, if there is violence, if the streets are back to the violence will be there, I expect it in some form or the other. It might just push Yunus government to say, we have no choice but to let Awami League participate. People will come. It's a matter of time. And here I think India should help the Awami League and say, do what it wants and put pressure on Bangladesh. Put pressure on Bangladesh internationally, put pressure on everyone to ensure that Awami League participates in the electoral process. It might lose, that's a different story. It should be there. Right? What are the scenarios? Let's look at the scenarios going ahead. Elections are supposed to be there February, March. Elections can take place. No one will get a majority. Might not. If no one gets a majority, there will be political strife. That's how things are panning out. Or will they go in for a national government after 1.5 years? We don't know. In which case, the army has to intervene. All these scenarios are now being discussed in public. Or will there be a coup by the army? That's another scenario. So, from last year to now and going ahead, the turmoil in Bangladesh is going to continue. I mean, let's not have any doubts about it. Increasingly, the economic indices in Bangladesh will continue to go down. They're not going to go up, they're going to go down. Everyone might say, incidentally, tariffs on Bangladesh are pretty high. It's unsustainable tariffs of US. People will say we support Bangladesh and all. What will Pakistan support Bangladesh? You leave that out. Who will support Bangladesh? No one is. Really, we have to reinforce that. They lay off. If India has to give a clear message to everyone, lay off Bangladesh. And we need to also talk about this to USA. I go back to the time in February last year when Trump and Mr. Modi had a chat. Openly, someone asked, what about Bangladesh? So Trump said, I leave it to the Prime Minister. We should now have a heart to heart talk with. See, our issues are reviving with USA. We should tell them, Bangladesh, this is the way we want things happening. Lay off Bangladesh. Anything about Bangladesh, come through us. You have that heft today. And it's time we exercise that control on Bangladesh. Bangladesh might say, we are independent, we are a sovereign country. Please be sovereign. But if you go against our interests are supreme. As simple as that. Look at this. People talk about this, chicken neck, yeah, wo. From my side, just knock it off. Knock off this Titulia corridor. Not now. You don't have to create a situation, military situation for yourself. Do that when the time comes. If the time comes. But will the time come? I don't think so. I've also discussed this Chumbi Valley and all those things with you. Do you think it's easy for China to come here? I don't think so. You think China will be able to do anything here? I don't think so. Unless there's a major war with China, which is not going to happen because China is in its own problem. And we'll talk what China can do or not do. It's very little. Right? So I think we have to take all these things into consideration. How do you deal with Bangladesh? Very simple. Tell the world, anything with Bangladesh is through me. It doesn't have to be avert. It has to be covered. Or quiet messages going, please lay off. We'll not be kind to you. You can take actions in Bay of Bengal. You can act through Myanmar. They are surrounded. Already certain actions are being taken. So I think Bangladesh, today, if I tell Bangladesh should, change its attitude towards India, it will not happen. It's not going to happen. Because there's no government. Everything is uncertain. So if everything is uncertain, what do? You do act from your area of certainty. What is certain is uncertainty in Bangladesh. So ring fence it. and let them do what they want. Allow them to do. And these four lots, is going to fight it out. It's not going to be easy. These four actors are going to do whatever they want within Bangladesh. Right? This is what I had to say about Bangladesh. We'll see how things happen as we go along. Right? Okay. Uh, Before I take questions, I'd like to request everyone, please like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to Gunner Shot. Press the bell icon and subscribe fully to Gunner Shot, and also join me as members. Well, having said all this, I want to touch on something which has happened day before. The UN, you know, this I'm going to Gaza now because I thought I'll spend 5-10 minutes on this. Yesterday, when I say yesterday, day before, the UN Security Council has adopted the US 20-point peace plan for Gaza. So now, whatever happens in Gaza is mandated through the UN. This is an important development. That's why I got it out. It doesn't warrant a full thing, but I thought I'll put it across to all of you. What is it? The US resolution has called for an international stabilization force which will enter, demilitarize, and govern Gaza. So what will the international stabilization force do is coming into focus. 3 points: enter, demilitarize, and govern also Gaza. And this proposal contains a 20-point ceasefire plan which Trump gave out in Sharm el-Sheikh. And it envisions a board of peace. Who will be the governor of the board of peace or the head of the board of peace or whoever it is? Trump. It's Trump's board of peace. And that board of peace will oversee the plan. But the composition is not clear so far. And they have also ratified the International Stabilization Force. That stabilization force has to be there. But we don't know what the composition of the International Stabilization Force is. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Right. Now, when it went into the Security Council, it was 13 for 0 against, with Russia and China abstaining. They could have vetoed it, but they abstained. Now, this is an interesting development. Look, everyone says USA has declined, but please remember, USA has forced this whole thing and bringing this back to thing. And people say China is rising and USA is declining. Is this suggestive of that? That both Russia and China, they are in one corner. Why? Because the Arab and Muslim nations overwhelmingly wanted this to happen, including Indonesia, Turkey, and Pakistan. And Pakistan, of course, is a member of the council. Right? The interesting thing, please understand, now that International Stabilization Force, when it is deployed in Gaza, is legal because the Security Council resolutions are considered as international law. Now, of course, they have to put a board of peace and who will be in the board of peace and all that. There will be problems with the International Stabilization Force. Why have I spoken about this International Stabilization Force? I have spoken of this International Stabilization Force today because will Pakistan contribute to it? If Pakistan contributes to it, it has a problem. If it doesn't contribute to it, Trump will lose interest in Pakistan. Take my word for it. Both ways, Pakistan is now stuck. And why? This force is supposed to go in, and this is where they have to confront Hamas and demilitarize them. How will they do? They'll have to fight with them. They'll have to destroy the military infrastructure as per the Security Council resolution, the International Stabilization Force. They have to demilitarize and get all the weapons of Hamas. That's a very tall order. So will Pakistan get involved in it? If it gets involved in it, there's going to be problems at home. It doesn't get involved with it, Trump will let it down. Or he'll say hands off. And things are changing. Again, why am I saying all this? You have to see this entire story in the context of what's happening in Japan, between Japan and China. Wolf warriorism is back between Japan, by China against Japan. There's a consul who says he wants to cut the filthy head of the Japanese prime minister off. That's serious. And Japan has said we will anything which happens, even if you try to put a barrier, naval blockade against Taiwan, we'll get involved. Japan has very forcefully said. So Indo-Pacific is gaining traction. If Indo-Pacific is gaining traction, Trump can't go into Indo-Pacific and do what he wants with Pakistan. Yeah. So if Pakistan doesn't give anything to the international stabilization force, you will see Pakistan, Trump will lose interest. And Pakistan is not going to revive US economy. Things are changing. And that is why I brought this in. There's a little, uh, you know, small thing, but important in the overall context of what's happening. Because many times the small issues are forgotten, and later this becomes, difficult to even grasp why this particular action is happening. I thought I'll cover this also with you. I do hope you like this little thing. More about this as we go along, because this will form part of the basis of many things which we're going to discuss in the Northeast, in the Middle East and West Asia, as also in the Indo Pacific. Things are going away. International focus will be now on the Middle East and West Asia, and it will be on the Indo Pacific. Russia, Ukraine is cooling down. Or it will go, it will continue desultorily. That is why India, Bangladesh, India gets the, internationally, India will come into the play. And Bangladesh has to finally see where it wants to go. When you say Bangladesh wants to see where it wants to go, it's the people of Bangladesh where they want to go. And the people of Bangladesh today have no voice. There's a problem. Right. I finished for the day. I'll take some questions. I'm sure Bangladeshis would have spoken completely against what I have said, but that's okay. That's part of the deal. Right. Uh, yeah. Yeah, this is something very nice. Yesterday, also evening, I spoke about Bangladesh in P Gurus with General Raj Shukla and General Harimon, and we spoke and we had a pretty lively discussion, different points of view. I mean, I completely respect Raj Shukla as a great thinker. Uh, and that's what Sanjay says. Happy morning, sir, Lieutenant General, sir. Last night, three generals discussion was top class, especially with General Raj Shukla, sir, and you. Waiting for Jugalbandi debate on that issue in future episode. Bitter facts, tough to digest. Yeah, we have to debate. We might have a different point of view, but the goal is the same. And same. Yes, I felt you and General Raj Shukla, sir, both are right. Can you please educate us more on that issue? In spite of such historic blunders, we are still surviving and progress, brave army. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. There are a lot of issues, a lot of differences of opinion. And you actually saw a positive thing of the army. Everyone expresses his opinion with no holds barred. But once a decision is taken, right? Your opinion is taken into account in the army. That's the strength of our army. It's taken. But once a final decision is taken, it's altogether healed. Everyone gets behind. There's no exclusion from that. Right? And I'm sure Raj Shukla and I will get back, General Raj Shukla and I will get back and we'll talk about it. We will concur on 80% or 90%. We might have different opinions on how to get there. But as far as national goals are concerned, we are 100% on board. We are the same. We cut from the same cloth there. We are gunners, basically. Yeah. Yeah, such a headache. Two failed states in either side, real nuisance value. I agree with you. Looking forward to your discourse. I hope you're okay with it. If you're okay, press the like button. Right. Good morning, Ladybird Haru and Jeet. Namaste. Thanks a lot. Arsenal Trill, good morning. And Siddharth, also good morning. Ashish, understood, bottled, and isolated Bangladesh. Very simple. ढक्कन बंद कर दो बस. Will the population of Bangladesh ever be a problem for India? It is the problem. Major. Why? Because those people, their economic conditions are not good. Nothing is growing there, or rather, there's no growth. Whatever growth they've had, they've destroyed. And the new government, I don't know which will come, what will do, nothing. And where will people go? People will go. People will try to push the borders out. And that's why the illegal migration, aliens, everything. So they will be the problem for us. It's not a military problem. It's a internal situation problem. We have to deal with it with a firm hand. Yeah, political asylum is something, right? Let's see where it goes. Yeah, we don't have to do anything. We're just there. She's there. We've given her whatever we have to do. And I'm sure that we're not going to send her back. The Bangladeshis can be disloyal to their own people, not us. Yeah, good morning. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Bangoputra, Bangladesh is not a secular country, but that's what they claim. I know it's not a secular country, but that's what they claim. Yeah, thanks a lot. Very in depth analysis. Yeah, 1947, we choose our land as Muslim majority. Choose who's stopping you. You do what you want. But the fact is, in your constitution, it's secular. In these clashes, establishments and shops owned by members of the caretaker government were targeted primarily. There are reports of a rift with one section of caretaker government veering towards it. That will happen because this caretaker government has gone against the interests of the people of Bangladesh. People forget that the original Pakistan was Bangladesh. Muslim League was founded in Dhaka, and the first mass violence occurred in Bangla. They have been radical. Yeah, this is something we have to know. We have to know this and act accordingly. Yeah, if interim government intelligent to take this case to Indian government courts, then Indian government wise enough to tell Indian court, you don't have to do that because all you have to do legally, you don't have to tell the government. All you have to do is, in your case which you put to the court, because you have to put a case to the court. You say, look, this government in Bangladesh is illegal. If it is illegal, very simple. If it is illegal, this court international tribunal is illegal, and this international tribunal is of Bangladesh. It's not an international tribunal, it's a Bangladeshi tribunal. And that's illegal. If that is illegal, then the conviction is illegal. So where's the case of criminal extradition? And that can be argued from here to the next century. Yeah, is BJP not screaming every day Hindutva? No, it doesn't. I disagree with it. They're not talking of Hindutva. Yeah, they have a problem with you. That's okay. Let them have. That's part of the deal. So Islam is a problem. Why people like you say it clean? Look, I'm not going to be standing adjudication on Islam or what. Whether Islam is clean or not is for someone else to decide. I'm not here for that. I'm here for only one thing: protect the nation, national sovereignty. I'm not interested in whether you're a Hindu, Islam, like you could do what you want. Which God you want to follow, you follow. But you go against this country, It doesn't matter which religious identity you're from. Well, you have to answer me. I'll ask questions. And that's why I ask these questions of Muslims. Are you clear that you want to defend the constitution of this nation or not? If you don't want to defend, then don't get the prerogatives of this nation. The constitution gives you me protection. It gives me rights. And it asks me to protect the constitution. That's why I protected this constitution and the concept of India and sovereignty of India for all these years. If there's any set of people who don't want to do that, who are not prepared to do that, they don't get the rights which the constitution gives. That's the point. You cannot question about other countries' belief. I'm not interested. You believe in what you want. But the moment you start acting against India, you'll get it. You can go out to hell from my side. Bangladeshis can do what they want. Go against others, you'll get it. You ill treat your minorities, you'll get it. Have no doubts about it. Yeah, Vasu, good morning. Thanks a lot. Sir, Mrs. Hasina has said she doesn't submit to legality of the verdict of the and would be amenable to undergoing trial before ICC in Hague. Why does she think the world's most leftist court will favor her? That's her choice, she said. But it will not go anywhere. Who's bothered about all this? You think someone will have to go to the ICC in Hague? You think Bangladesh will go all the way? Let them go. That's something I'm not interested in. Yeah. She was a tyrant that people hated. The bizarre, unwavering defense for her shows more about it. Yeah, we are very clear. You are saying if she is a tyrant and people hated, okay, why are people coming out against whatever the present caretaker government is? You can't do caretaking for the past 1.5 years, and this government is completely illegal. It's extra constitutional. It's not there in the constitution of Bangladesh. And if you guys like you are supporting this fellow, then you are one of the rascals of this nation. Bharat has a civilizational history of nurturing every religion for millennia on end, and it is this fact that exposes the West and Islam as medieval colony. I completely agree with you, 100%. Yeah, good morning, and Kiran, thanks a lot. I see a lot of Bangladeshis, right? She stole billion from our nation. Where is the proof of all this? Just because you said it, she stole billions, she doesn't. It's nothing like that. Number of Bangladeshis here is funny. That's okay. Let them come. It's their country. They will react if a person like me is talking. What India should declare to the people of Bangladesh is after the democracy comes back to Bangladesh, that India will resume all business and political ties, reinstate all facilities. Yeah, that's later. We'll see what happens. There's a long way to that. I don't think it will happen in a hurry. There is no elected government in Bangladesh, and that's what I said. It's not a legal government. It's an extra constitutional government. Everything about what's happened in Bangladesh over the past 1 year is illegal. Okay. I respect all, but there are verses in Quran that command the killing and enslavement of idolaters. Perhaps this was a situation at that time, but today Muslims have to live with that. There's no doubt about it. They can follow what they want, but if they go and do all these nonsense things, they'll get it on the neck. On that, they no Muslim, no Indian should have this doubt. You can't take religion, take it to the streets through the detriment of others and the public safety of others. If you do that, well, the constitution is supreme. As simple as that. That's the way I look at it. I might have my faith, but to me, I defend the constitution of India. Look at this idiot. We also have good relations with Turkey, Gulf states, and ASEAN. What will they give you? They'll give you nothing. Be rest assured. You can go and do labor there. ठीक है लेबरर्स हैं आप लोग. Look at this. It says Bangladesh is key for geographically sea and air station and also important for your guys can do nothing. Anyway, see another problem with Bangladesh is the Bangladeshis have a great estimate of themselves. They think they are the best in the world. They think there's a cultural idiocy in Bangladesh which says that you know the world can't live without Bangladesh. Remember, you don't matter. No one will be bothered if we do anything against you. It's just that India has been decent not to do anything. The day India you cross a threshold, and that the government only knows which the threshold is, you'll get it on the neck from India. That I'm very sure. Sir, great subject and info. Thanks a lot. Okay. I think Bangladesh situation can be diagnosed as delusions of grandeur, delusions of persecution, delusions of reference, Stockholm syndrome. I think so. It's a major problem for them. They have to get over that. That will be the killer. Okay, Jai Hind, Mrs. Claire. Thanks a lot. Folks, here, like the live stream, please. Yeah, that's also my request. Uh, Yeah, Namaste, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, Atmanirbhar, Atmarakshak, yeah, Atma Vishwas, Ease of Justice, Vande Matram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. I like this. Right, let me see. Hmm. Yeah, Ashok Vardham, Namaskaram, General Shankar Garu, good morning. Thanks a lot for attending, Ashok. Yeah, right. Respect and pranam, sir. Thanks a lot. Is there an Atarai group where we can message? Yeah, Gunner Shot is there. It's already there on Aratai. Oh, good morning, Pranam, sir. Your videos are knowledgeable and informative, but I can only watch the recordings because the time you come live is office going time for most of your subscribers. You can come in the evening, 8 o'clock, after you come back from office. Right? Or you keep saying, I mean, I understand, but this is when I can. Or you give me a time when you want. You give me a time when you want. I'll go live then. To protect our northeast in future, we need to take decisive action now. Yeah, there's no doubt on that. Thanks, sir. Fantastic analysis. Sir Tripura King emphasizes that Chittagong port is essential for the economic survivability of the entire landlocked eastern region of India. I don't agree with it anymore. I don't agree with it. Maybe once upon a time it was, right? That was how it used to be. I don't agree with it. India has gone past all that. And if the Kaladan multimodal project comes through, There's only one little patch left, and some political issues get sorted out. We are on a pig's back. There's no problem. Yeah. Let me see which other question. I have a question about 1977, 71. Why didn't India keep a piece of Bangladesh land like the Chittagong tracts or the area near northwest? Was there some limitations or land grabbing by? No, it was nothing of that kind. It was a matter of honor. As simple as that. It was a matter of honor. And probably people at that time didn't visualize that things will turn this way. That, you know, oh, people said it irrelevant. That little piece of land with Bangladesh now will be more friendly than it was earlier. Things will sort out. But who knew that people will change this way? Yeah, Nunes was given a Nobel Prize in 2007 or so. He became their leader. His Nobel Prize at Tool could predict. Said yes, completely. He was given a Nobel Prize because of his connections with the Clinton family. Simple. Okay. Yeah. This is an important thing what he's saying. Every Islamist asks for fundamental rights but do not follow fundamental duties. Is it slow indoctrination of Islam? That's a problem. The Islamists are of this variety. And that's whom I'm going to question like every time. You want rights of this country or for anywhere internationally, you have to do your duties and your obligations. If you don't do that, well, it's a different story. How do you compete with ISI network in India? You have your own network there. That's simple as that. Yeah, with the illegal Bangladeshi migrants returning home from India, how will Yunus keep Bangladesh stable in summer of 2026 and fight against Adani? I don't know whether he'll survive 2026. Let's see. I don't expect him to be there for long. His time is coming. It's not the people of, it's not that people hated Hasina. It's the radical Islamists of Bangladesh hating her and loving Pakistanis even after knowing what Pakistanis did to their well. I agree with you. They are, it's a very important statement which has come out. There's no doubt about it. Even assume that Sheikh Hasina was corrupt, but still you go through a constitutional process. This is something Bangladeshis don't understand. I've spoken myself the same. I agree with you, 100%. Bangladesh does not care about the economy is declining. They will get IMF funds like Pakistan supported by West. I doubt if that will happen anymore. Do you think armed Bangladeshi public can be more challenging for Indian army than the Bangladeshi army? Out of question. Bangladesh is no security threat for you. The armed threat and military threat is out of question. Don't worry. Okay. Be like APJ, nation first and be good. I agree with you. 100%. I worked under Dr. Abdul Kalam. Okay. Let me tell you, in the 2 years I worked under him, not a single day did I speak anything to do outside, professionalism. We never spoke of religion. And he was, let me tell you something which many of you don't know. Dr. Abdul Kalam had a passion. And this passion was Tyagraj Kirtanas. Now, Tyagraj Kirtanas are all about God, Vishnu, ye, wo. They are in Telugu. Uh, he used to listen to them daily. Okay. He didn't know Telugu. He was a Tamilian. He learned Telugu to understand the meaning of Tyagraj Kirtanas. Just think of a Muslim who's, of a Muslim who is learning Telugu to understand Tyagraj Kirtanas. That's the kind of thinking we have to look at. You have to look at knowledge. You have to look at other things, not religion. Religion is your personal belief. How do we keep the surveillance capabilities of entire South Asian country? Just be there. You have your tentacles. You have your intelligence. You have to be there. As simple as that. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I laughed when I read Bangladesh is the real guardian of Bay of Bengal. That he's just a stupid guy. That's about all. Right. Okay. I think we've done for the day. Okay. And yeah, today evening I'm going to talk of Pakistan with General Shokin Chauhan. Right. And I'll get back to you. It's going to be a very interesting talk. And because General Shokin Chauhan has spoken of Pakistan as a nation between two lines, and think of it that way. It's a nation between Radcliffe Line and Durand Line. Both these lines are imaginary lines and not natural, unnatural lines. So this Pakistan is a nation between two unnatural lines, and that's what makes Pakistan an unnatural country. And we're going to discuss this in the evening. Till then, have a great time. Join me back at 8 o'clock in the evening. Enjoy yourself and Jai Hind till then.